You are listening to the Mohua show, where it's all about celebrating the Junoon among changemakers and their journey.
My only grievance in the Indian judicial system at this point of time is not about justice. It's about delay.
As a defense lawyer, how do you separate public perception from your duty to the law?
Advocates Act says that you cannot say no to any person or any client whatsoever. I don't care about the media. I don't care about the public perception. I don't care that if that matter will make me a little unpopular because of one reason that I have to stand by that person.
The minute it's the Adani group, one start thinking that would it ever be possible to even stand against them? So, what is it like, Nipun?
Everyone is equal in front of the law, right? The law of the land has to be there. So it feels exactly normal because in the end, all are clients.
What does it mean to rise through India's legal corridors as a first generation lawyer, cutting your teeth under legends like Ram Jethmalani, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and Aman Lekhi? Today's guest doesn't just practice law, he lives at its most complex intersections: power and justice, reform and reality, privilege and survival. We're talking about the real face of the Indian legal system, NDPS cases, the Dharavi redevelopment project, trans rights, the gaping holes in rape laws, why India still hasn't had a woman chief justice. Today we are joined by Supreme Court advocate Nipun Katyal, known for his result-oriented and ethical approach to legal practice. He specializes in a wide range of matters, including civil and criminal litigation, family law, anticipatory bail, domestic violence, white-collar crimes, and financial regulatory violations. That isn't enough. With a keen eye for detail and a client-first mindset, he offers sharp legal analysis and practical solutions. Nipun has handled high-profile cases, including India's biggest NDPS case. So stay tuned. This is more than a legal masterclass. It's a real reality check. Welcome, Nipun, in today's episode. You're a first-generation lawyer who's worked under legends like Ram Jethmalani, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and Aman Lekhi. What did that mentorship teach you that law school never ever could?
First of all, I'm really thankful, Mohua, for inviting me to your exceptionally well podcast. And these sessions, I was seeing you in your Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. It's very knowledgeable and you're doing amazing thing. And the second thing now, let's come to our questions. The questions you've put forth to me are what does it feel and what do you learn from these legendary people? First thing which I learned from these legendary people is persistence and never actually losing approach. And the approach which actually gives you a force to actually fight cases which are very difficult factually, legally, and sometimes society also expects that these people should not be represented. So all these things I've learned from these people. And the first one, my first mentor, Mr. Ram Jethmalani. Ram Jethmalani obviously is an exception, like he's a legal luminary. But
Absolutely.
my only concern was that how can this person at the age of 95, 96 is remembering all these things? And how he's representing the clients with that force, with that positivity, when you cannot actually in your 50s also. So these things I've learned with Mr. Ram Jethmalani, representing the clients with like high stake clients all over the internet, all over the news channels, and then also you are representing them. Even I was involved with him in Upahar case, Upahar scam,
Yeah.
or Upahar cinema case where many people actually suffered to death, but he was representing the Ansal brothers and he has gone really good. And I was working, I think I worked for him at that point of time, 24 hours without a sleep, without a nap. And he was just reading and just working hard to get relief for his clients. And the second one is Mr. Aman Lekhi. Mr. Aman Lekhi at that time was Additional Solicitor General of India. So we used to get, I think, 10 to 12 matters a day or 15 to 18 matters a day. Though I was marked 1 or 2 matters a day to brief him. But look at his strength. that a person who is reading in and out of the brief every day 18 to 20 matters and representing wonderfully in the before the Honorable Supreme Court of India. So this consistent behavior is actually common in all the senior advocates, that they work and really work hard just for their clients. And Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who is a member of parliament, Congress senior spokesperson, and senior advocate who has been doing amazingly well, and he is the top notch amongst the top notch advocates in the country, who is representing the chief minister of Karnataka, who is represented the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, or the chief minister of Delhi, and many other cases. So the list can go on and on and on, just because of his hard work, his managerial skills, his organized structure, how to do arguments, how to actually convince a judge who is also having exactly same experience because he's practicing before the apex court of the country, right? So the judges are also well respected and well knowledgeable, and convincing a knowledgeable person to his side is much more difficult, right? So that's how he prepares the matters, one by one, organized ways of preparing some matters. So I've learned few things from Mr. Lekhi, Mr. Singhvi, or Dr. Singhvi, or Mr. Jethmalani. So this is how my journey has been going, and it's been a decade now since I've been practicing before the Honorable Supreme Court of India and various high courts of the country.
Wonderful, Nipun. So, breaking into the legal world without legacy, what kind of resistance or gatekeeping did you face? I'm sure a
See,
lot of young lawyers would really like to hear that from you firsthand.
yes. So first of all, we have to keep this in mind that yes, there is a resistance. There will not be some open doors for you as a first generation advocate because you don't have contacts, because people won't trust you with their lives, right? Because it's all about people's lives which we are representing in court. Advocates are what? Advocates are just the spokesperson of a person who doesn't know or knows but not that much, and representing as a mouthpiece for these people and representing them with all their faith and everything, right? So these things actually come with the trust, with experience, with some connections. So I don't mind a nepotism thing, but to get into this field, you have to just work hard. And at the first place, I was when I used to send some internship applications. I used to do that, I think 100, 150 per day to various law firms, senior advocates of the country, all the top-notch law firms. So the success rate was I think 1%. So that's how you actually build. Now all those law firm people knows me, but they don't know that I've been rejected by them. It's like that, right? So it's really difficult, but your hard work pays you off. And to get into this circle of legal fraternity and get into these who's of who of legal fraternity, it's very difficult, but your consistent behavior and consistent hard work will actually make you through.
So, let's just talk now a little sticky stuff. Your client list includes names like Sukesh Chandrasekhar and high profile murder defendants. So, as a defense lawyer, how do you separate public perception from your duty to the law?
See, I'll tell you, there's only one mantra. One mantra is you just need to follow the Advocates Act. And we have been taught in law colleges as well that Advocates Act says that you cannot say no to any person or any client whatsoever if you think that this case will make you unpopular, or if you think that this case will make you lose this case or will make you lose your client. Third, that society thinks that you shouldn't take this case. All these ingredients or all these conditions should not be there. And as a good advocate, whosoever comes to you, you have to provide your services and give your best. So I don't care about the media. I don't care about the public perception. I don't care that if that matter will make me a little unpopular, because of one reason, that I have to stand by that person every time, because he's my client and he is having a legal right to be represented. And if a person who has a legal right to be represented is not represented by me because I'm saying no, then I am not justifying my profession. And it's a very, and people say that it's a very noble profession, this and that, but they don't maybe following it. So at this point of time, maybe I'm too young to say this, but I have to follow these ethics and I have to follow my Advocates Act, where I have to represent any person, whosoever he is, she is, or a transgender or anyone, just because she wants or he wants an advocate.
Tell us about the case involving allegedly a raw agent accused of conspiring to kill Khalistani leader Pannu. How do you navigate a case that's international, political, and deeply, even now, very, very controversial?
Absolutely. So again, uh, just connect my first answer to this, that I don't care if one person is making me unpopular or it's international thing which is happening. My case here was that my client was detained in Czech Republic by the US agencies at that time. And that detention of my client was illegal. And as an Indian citizen, my client was having an authority and a right to be represented, right? So one person who has been detained, or an Indian passport holder who has been detained in Czech Republic, and that too illegally, without any red corner notice, without any arrest warrant, without anything whatsoever, but he has been detained in Czech Republic. So I filed a writ petition before the Honorable Apex Court saying that this Indian citizen, which is the responsibility of the government to take him back because of so and so reasons. The reasons were that there is no cause of action arose in Czech Republic. The second reason was that, see, my client has not got any show cause notice, no allegation whatsoever at that very moment. So I filed this petition, and the Honorable Apex Court was kind enough to direct the government to entertain my representation given to them and dispose it off as expeditiously as possible. And these all are allegations that this person was involved in killing a Khalistani leader called Pannu, though he should be killed. But yes, these were the allegations which were there against my client, which can never be proved.
So, you're currently also representing Seckling Technologies, in a case against
Right.
the Adani Group over the Dharavi redevelopment project. So, how does it feel to stand against such big giants? And, of course, the minute it's the Adani Group, one, start thinking that would it ever be possible to even stand against them? So, what is it like, Nipun?
See, obviously, Adani Group is a very like big corporate, but in the end, Adani Group or Adani Group of companies are registered under the Indian Companies Act, which is like Indian, right? And the Seckling Technologies is a company or a company which is registered in India, based in the UAE. My only point here is that any person, if I prove that there has been a partiality, there has been something that can be proved in the court, that partiality is for Adani or partiality is for maybe Ambani or anyone else. Everyone is equal in front of the law, right? The law of the land has to be there. And we argued before the Honorable Supreme Court that the principles of natural justice was not followed. And principles of natural justice would apply to Adani or maybe the Prime Minister or anyone else in the country, right? Because the law, the tender which was floated was by the state government, state of Maharashtra. And then there were some things which were going on, because I can't actually reveal many things because the matter is sub judice before the Honorable Supreme Court. So I can't reveal that much in detail, but being aggrieved that I have not participated in the tender process, I approached legally and approached the Honorable High Court. And after that, being aggrieved of the order passed by the Honorable High Court, went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court was kind enough to entertain us and issued notice to the other side, Adani Group, as well as the state of Maharashtra. So it feels exactly normal, because in the end, all are clients.
Mhm. So you worked on very high-profile cases under the NDPS Act and corporate crime, So what's one case that fundamentally changed the way you have personally looked at justice?
So I have always believed in justice in the courts. My only grievance in the Indian judicial system at this point of time is not about justice. It's about delay. That because of the pendency of the cases before various courts in the country, even the trial court or the Honorable High Courts or the Honorable Supreme Court of India, because of maybe the population and many other reasons, delay is there. My concern here is, which is actually I want to change it if at all, that Article 21, right to freedom or personal liberty, has to be there, has to prevail over everything else. If a person is behind the bars, either he'll be convicted or acquitted, right? But during the pendency, he has been an under trial prisoner and stays in the jail for maybe 7 years or 5 years or 4 years or whatsoever. And in the end, after 10 years or 15 years of the trial or the conclusion of trial, he's acquitted. And if that person is acquitted, who will give that 5 years, 4 years to him? Because he has stayed in jail just because of some implication by the prosecution that he is the culprit or he has been involved in something or something like that, right? But conclusion of trial is happening after 15 years. So personal liberty has to be considered, and the views are changing. The Honorable Supreme Court has also expressed many a times now that personal liberty has to be the paramount.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the day, in 2021, where the Income Tax Department raided News Laundry's offices.
Yes.
So what was the first call you received and what really ran through your mind? Can you share that with our listeners?
Absolutely, because whatever, as a defense counsel, it's my job to be 24/7 available for my clients, right? So I received a call. I was not in Delhi. I was in Chandigarh. I think for some work, I went to Chandigarh. And I received a call that some income tax department has come with their team and raided the office like anything. At that time, I asked my client to send me the notice under which they have an authority of raiding someone's office at this point of time, right? So, as you ask that what comes in your mind when all these things happen by a surprise, we go to the root, because we think that if the roots are bad, the fruits are bad, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the root and found that the income tax department who has raided my premises is under one provision of Income Tax Act, wherein they have no authority whatsoever to seize my material, my books of accounts or my phone or anything else. So at that time only we just discovered that this is an illegal raid which is happening. Very next day, we approached the Honorable High Court by way of a writ petition, and we got an order and said that, see, we have nothing to actually hide, but my only concern here is that these income tax people should not share my confidential data to any third person, including the police or CBI or anyone else. As a news agency, you have a right to collect few data for actually informing the public at large, right? So there were certain data, confidential ones. There are photos of family members of the news anchors or maybe the managing director of the news laundry, right? So we were conscious of the fact that the raid was illegal, but then also because we didn't have anything to hide, we can say you can check whatever you want to, but don't share it at all. So it should not be leaked, because under the garb of some income tax, you will be prosecuting someone else.
What were the pressures, legal or otherwise, did you face while defending an independent media outlet, against a state authority? I mean, it sounds bizarre, but it did happen. So what kind of pressures did you face?
Pressure is always there, because when you actually defend someone as a defense counsel, including maybe news laundry or maybe other people, pressure is always there because the whole of the state government is against you, right? They are trying their level best to justify their acts, whether legal or illegal. That has to be decided by the court. But we have to every time prove that their acts are illegal, arbitrary. So pressure is there, no doubt about it, but we have to face it because we are representing the clients and we believe that our clients are actually worth the representation.
So people often think that once a rape FIR is filed, justice is done. But in reality, victims often become under trials and themselves, so they become the under trials. So can you talk a little bit about this brutal truth? And shouldn't rape laws really be equal for all genders, including trans women?
Absolutely. My point always has been this, that rape laws or section 375, where rape is defined, has to be gender neutral because of one reason, that after 377 being legal or unnatural sex being legal, rape can happen to anyone, including a transgender, a man, a woman. But in rape laws, it's only women. Now that it's only women, women only can file a case or an FIR against any man. So both the things should be gender neutral. A complainant as well as an accused. But now the thing is that it's maybe pending before the High Court to decide whether it should be gender neutral or not. But the other concern which you said, that filing of an FIR or alleging rape is not sufficient, because as soon as you file an FIR, the investigation starts. There are statements which are recorded. Even the victim or a survivor has to prove that she was raped without the consent or repeatedly or on the false pretext of marriage or many other things. So the onus is on both. Proving that I've been raped by someone is extremely difficult because of one reason. That in normal course, as a lay person, if I'll tell you that if a person meets anyone and gets or forced himself to a woman and tries or rapes her, it's in the four corners or four walls in a room, and there are no CCTV cameras. Having no CCTV cameras means having no evidence whatsoever. And after that, it takes too long to prove that I've been raped. This is bizarre. Why I'm saying this? Because the complainant has to be there, give a statement under section 161. After the complaint, FIR is registered. After that, she has to give a statement in 161. And after that, she has to give a statement under section 164 of CRPC. And after that, she'll be examined and cross-examined by the other side. Look at the level of harassment which has been faced by a complainant. And I have represented one of the clients, and she's one of the survivors. where she has been fighting only for the justice since more than 12 years now. And nothing is happening before the lower court. And she has been just fighting. And just because the name is not there, it's written X or something like that of the prosecutrix. But do you believe that no one knows? If you are getting a summon that you have to depose yourself before the court, people know that. And all these things, there's a blot in the society on this survivor or a victim, that this lady has been actually raped. So we shouldn't talk to her. No marriage, no job, nothing. Why? Because you're just fighting for like 15 years. And the trauma for rape,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
psychological, mental
The
trauma,
shame attached to it also.
absolutely. Because our
Yeah,
society is not just that having sex with someone else or the opposite gender is a normal thing for our Indian society. And forcing yourself to have sex with someone else because you are in position of power, or you are actually dilly-dallying things that, okay, I'll be marrying you, just have sex with me. That's why these all laws are there under section 375. But what about after the registration of FIR? About after registration of FIR, there are 100 things. 1% of the job is only complete that at least FIR is registered. But what about the investigation? What about filing of the charge sheet? What about arresting the accused persons? And I, who is a survivor, who is a victim, is actually proving it to the court that I've been raped. So this is crazy, right?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
but this should happen with both the sides. That is my concern here. Because at this point of time I shouldn't, but it's also a reality that since this section or the punishments are so deterrent, that many women with oblique motive are using this as a sword rather than a shield. These laws were made to protect the woman, but now it's a blackmailing tool as well. We come across with this aspect as well. So every story is having two sides. So this is the darker side of it. And what about harassment of men? Nothing. So both the things are there. If we are actually as a society, Indian society who is evolving, which is growing,
Absolutely.
we have to think not only upliftment but equality.
Yeah, for both the genders,
Equality
for
in the
all the
laws
genders,
as
yeah.
well. Yes.
So there are cases, where homemakers or women seeking maintenance are denied, or laughed out of court. So why is it so hard for courts to see economic value in unpaid labor? And it's a topic that's very close to my heart. And how well is the Maternity Benefit Act implemented really in the real world, especially in the private sector?
So answer to because your question is having two limbs.
Yeah,
The first one is that homemakers asking for maintenance. Justified. Why I'm saying this? Because many homemakers actually sacrifice their career, their growth, maybe because of the children, maternity, and to support, because you get that upbringing only from your ancestors that you have to always support your husband or a
yeah,
spouse. So that mentality is always there. Those ethics, those upbringings are always there with you. And you can't leave that, right? But on the other side, even the husbands or the courts should be conscious of the fact that what have they suffered with? What have they sacrificed? If anyone who is an educated person was working before the marriage and after the marriage, the person is actually stopped working, maybe because of the family, emotions, and upbringing of their own children, then what happens? This is called loss of opportunity. Let's not go into the matrimonial aspect of it at this point of time. Let's keep it aside. And if you see, if we file a case like a property matter, and if I sell you a property worth 10 lakhs, and after that you deny, and I'm only in the courts saying that, okay, I want these 10 lakhs. The court, what they do is they impose interest, that you have, Mohua has to pay 10 lakhs plus some 18% interest. What is the intention behind that 18% interest? That's loss of opportunity. So if we apply this formula of loss of opportunity to the matrimonial cases, that this lady who has been denied the maintenance because either husband is not earning that much or his lifestyle is much more than that, the wife should not deserve that. That's crazy, right? Why I'm saying
Absolutely.
this? Because after the marriage, if before marriage one person is earning 10,000 rupees, and then that person or that wife ceases to actually do their job because of external circumstances like family and love and change in cities or many things, right? To
Yeah.
support, then that 10,000 rupees which you were earning before the marriage has to grow to 10 lakhs a month, right? After maybe 20 years. So this is the loss of opportunity. And if that formula is not applied, people will be scared of actually marriages.
Absolutely.
And we don't want that in our society at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Nipun, one piece of advice to young aspiring lawyers, has the legal change translated into real protection for the LGBTQ plus community, or there is still a gap between law and lived reality? How is it?
So there is a change which has come after the act, but obviously we have to work upon that. We
Okay.
have to change all the laws. Just because recognizing a third gender doesn't mean that, okay, we have done whatever we could. But change in the laws, like gender neutral laws, and you have to get something like horizontal reservations for them, because rather than the other people or backward classes like SCs, STs, OBCs, there should be a criteria of transgenders as well, because at this point of time the society is not prepared to accept these people, and they're a little scared that how can they do that. They're asked many questions like, what happened? I think there's some psychological disorder to you, or many things, even if they've been recognized by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, the apex body or apex regulatory body. But then also there has to be more and more awareness. And I am only talking about tier 1 cities like Delhi, Bombay, and Bangalore. But tier 2, tier 3 cities, still they think that these people are mad. So awareness to these things should always be there. And it has to be aggressive awareness. We can't just ignore this society because of their maybe population, because the family is not supporting them. India as a country need to support each and every citizen of its own.
So, Nipun,
Yeah.
let's just do some quick bites, okay? What's the day in your life when you're handling a high stake case?
My ring shows me that I am extremely stressed. No breakfast, only work, and I cannot eat I can only eat after the court, or at 4 o'clock or 4:30. My first bite is there because I'm in a stressed matter or a high stake matter, as you call, because every matter is a stress matter for me. Leaving aside the repercussions or many things, I believe that I am taking the stress on my own, because it's all on my shoulders, right? Because the client has actually trusted that, okay, you are the person who will be representing me in the court, and I trust you completely. Whatever you say will be good for me. So all the burden of the clients, all the tensions of the client, stress of the client comes to me directly. And I have to just spit it out before the court and present the best case I can. So my stress level is always high.
What's that one moment in court that really shook you, morally, emotionally, or professionally? One case that really shook you.
I was expecting a bail in a case of murder, and I was really expecting that bail to come out because we argued really well and we were satisfied with our arguments, and the case went on and on and on for like I think 20 days regularly. Every day the case was getting listed, and we were arguing for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and prepare after that, because what we argue, if we are arguing for 3 hours, we have to spend like 15 hours in our office, right?
Hmm.
So we were spending so much of time in the office and then court and satisfying the client and updating the client for each and everything and not getting that result. So it just shook me like anything. Like, we have to be conscious of the fact, and it actually taught me that failure will actually not be a hurdle for you. It's a lesson that I've learned,
Absolutely.
that
I
anything can
agree.
happen.
So, what's one reform that you'd like to see in the legal system? Something really urgent but has been overlooked. And what must every Indian know, about the law?
See, my first thing is that what reform? The reform is that you need to have higher disposal rates. What I am seeing at this point of time, what I advise to my clients, that if at all you can solve your issue outside the court premises without filing a case, please go ahead. Don't pay me. Don't do anything. Just solve your things if they are actually getting solved just because of your little compromise. Both the sides, right? Please solve it out, because so much of pendency in the courts because of the population and the shortage of judges. So the reform is that they have to be all the cases, including civil or criminal, every time. There should be a fixed time period for all the cases to be decided, so that the client who has come to us will be prepared with this much of time, that okay, this much of time will be which we'll be taking, the judicial system will be taking, and I'm prepared that okay, I can fight for like 2 years or 3 years. But going on and on for like 10 years, 15 years is something which should not be there, because justice should be readily available for the people.
Agree.
This is one reform. Every Indian must read the Constitution of India. I say that every Indian citizen, like a Bhagavad Gita or a Quran or a Bible, they should also keep the Constitution of India by their bedside table also, and read and know their rights, their duties, and other things that will be there and which protects you as an Indian citizen. So the Constitution of India is the Bible for our law.
Thank you so much, Nipun, for being on today's episode. We're extremely grateful that you took out the time to be on the Mohua show. Thank you, and we wish you all the best, and can't even imagine what you must be going through in a day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohua. All the best for your viewers, for your team, and they've arranged it in a very short notice, because I requested them personally that it should be after the court hours. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me as well.